Welcome back, Tribe Builder. I'm Muffy Mendoza, and welcome to the Brown Mama's Tribe Builder course made for any leader who wants to lead in community with care and intention. Before we get to the lesson, y'all already know we got to make it do what it do with our 30-second commitment. So I want you to take your deep breath and breathe out and repeat after me. We build community. We are moms, grandmas, dads, uncles, and aunties and neighbors. We are childcare workers, nurses, bus drivers, and business owners. We are the village. We fill in the gap. We listen to stories, honor the presence, and validate the vision of everyday people. When one season ends and the next begins, when the needs shift, the questions change, and life gets real, we are there. We are space. Space, we hold space. Space to learn, space to connect, space to lead, space to grow. All right. So let's get it in today's session. Today is our basic gathering and event planning. But what we are talking about is our minimum viable gathering. Start small, build trust. This is not about producing the perfect event. So I want you to get that out of your head because so many people come to me because I've hosted very small events and then I've also hosted very big events that happen to actually went off pretty well. But this is not about producing a perfect event. This is about hosting something small enough to happen and good enough to build trust, because we have to always remember that that is what is at the center of tribe building is trust. Without trust, nothing happens. So it has to be, again, small enough to happen and good enough to actually build trust. So we call this our minimum viable gathering. A minimum viable gathering is small. Even if it's only 5 people, it counts. It is clear. Everyone knows why they're here. It is doable. You can pull it off with no burnout. Like literally, all it might take is a phone call and a trip to the Dollar Tree. And it is consistent. You can repeat it with ease. Like you could literally be like, I'm doing this in 2 weeks, and it caused you no stress. Because community is built by repeatable moments, not big glamorous ones. Like the big glamorous ones come later and they're great, but that's not how you build community. If you're trying to build an organization, big glamour event. You're trying to build a community, small, repeatable moments. The first 2 years of Brown Mamas was just meetups at my house and sometimes the library, but that's it. So if you've been waiting until you have a budget, a sponsor, a venue, a flyer, pause. Pause. You do not need all that to build trust. And that's the Brown Mama's difference. We are not gathering for gathering's sake. We are gathering to build community in trust. To do that, you need clarity, you need care, you need follow through. So the trust is going to carry you a mighty long way. I'm telling you, the trust has carried me for 10 years, even when I was struggling and stressed and doing too much. The trust that other people had for me and for Brown Mamas carried me. So I want you to understand that there are 5 essential things that you need to understand and know and make happen in order to host your minimum viable gathering. And that is, you need purpose, people, place, a plan, and follow up. Purpose, people, place, a plan, and follow up. That's what you need. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. So I want you to write that down in your Tribe Builder roadmap or on a piece of paper. Purpose, people, plan, and follow up. So first, purpose. Why are we here? Again, why are we here? People, purpose is not to connect. Purpose is not a vibe. Purpose is, what are we doing together and why does it matter right now? Not why does it matter next Tuesday? Why does it matter right now? So some examples of that: a 60-minute coffee and check-in for moms who feel isolated. It tells you, what are we doing here and why does it matter? A park meetup to swap school tips and summer resources. What are we doing here and why does it matter? A monthly reset circle to talk, breathe, and leave lighter. What are we doing here and why does it matter? A strong purpose is one sentence. If you need a paragraph, that means it's unclear. Get clear before you make a move, because if you make a move before you're clear, people are going to show up and be like, why did I go to that? That didn't have no purpose. Or they're going to say the killer statement, it was nice, but I don't know. That's the worst when they say it's nice, because that means you actually did a good job. You just didn't have any purpose. And that's like, to me, that's 10 times worse. And so the next thing you need is people. Again, going back to video one, who is it for and how many people are we aiming for? But who is it for is important. Like, you need a real target. It's not everybody. Who are your people? Know that. So ask, who is this specifically for? Who is it not for yet? Because there's a point. Like that is a point. There are some people that your first meetups not for them, because they're going to ask too many questions. They need too many things. So who is this specifically for right now? And then what is my ideal number for the first one? Because your ideal number for the first one, I would say, is probably your ideal number for the first one, second one, third one, fourth one, and fifth one. So if your ideal number is 5 people, then that's what you're aiming for. 5 people. You're not stressing yourself out trying to get 200 people. If your ideal number is even 15 people, that's even fine. Once your ideal number goes above 50, you are not building community, because intimacy is necessary for community. People need to be able to be greeted. People need to be able to remember names. People need to be able to follow up with a simple text, call, or email. And once you go above, I would say once you go above 20 people, you're now building an organization. You're not building a community, because community requires one-to-one back and forth. It requires that we can depend on each other. It requires that we know each other. And so you need to decide your invitation method. Is it going to be a text? Is it going to be a DM, an email, or group post? And choose one primary channel so you don't scatter yourself. And also so that everybody knows where to come back to. Do not post it on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. You want to know who's coming to the room so that you can prepare to have the proper vibe. And if you don't know who's coming, if you just put it, I'm having a community. And then people show up and you're like, number one, they're not my people. Number two, I don't know what to do with you. And number three, like, is this even for you? So just make sure that you are very intentional about your invitation method, intentional about the number of people you want in the room, intentional about how folks are going to be engaged. That brings us to what's next. Place. Where is it going to happen? Your place should match your people, and it should match your capacity. So it should match your people and your capacity. Options that really work well: a park pavilion, a library meeting, a community center, a cafe with a back area, or as a last resort, somebody's home, only if you feel comfortable and boundaries are clear. I would say your first few meetups, do not have people at your house. Do not go to people's houses unless your first few meetups are friends who are gathering that already know each other. And that's different. But if you are essentially going out to people that you may not know, it is not safe for you. It is not boundaried for you to have people in your home. And when you choose a place, make sure that you think about public transit. Make sure you think about bathrooms, lighting and noise, weather. If you're going outdoors, you need to have a weather backup, and accessibility for strollers, elders, mobility needs, even people who may be hard of hearing. Your place should feel like we belong here. That's what it should feel like. It should feel like people should come in and they should be like, oh, this feels good immediately. And it should not feel like I got to get ready to come here. It should not feel like who's going to be there. If I got to ask who's going to be there, that means I might not feel comfortable just off the gate. And it should feel like your MVG people, like your minimum viable gathering people. Put it like this: they're going to be you. They're going to be almost a version of you. And if when you walk into the space, it don't feel good for you, it's not going to feel good for them. Number 4, you need to have a plan. What exactly is going to happen here? If you just say we're going to meet up and talk, that means you have a concept, not a flow. And meet up and talk quickly turns into we don't know why we're here. So this is where a lot of gatherings end up falling apart because you need to have 3 parts to every gathering. Number 1, you need to have a welcome. You need to make sure you are the greeter, or again, you should have a host, a helper, and a host, a holder, and a helper. One of y'all needs to be the greeter, probably either the host or the holder. This is where a lot of events fall apart too, because nobody gets welcomed into the space. You come and your initial trust is the perception, and your trust is broken immediately because you walk in and it just feels like I'm here by myself. So if somebody walks in and feels immediately left alone, they may leave feeling the same way. The second thing that your event needs to have or your gathering needs to have is a center, the main activity, your conversation. Go back to number one. Why are we here? Why are we here? And what are we here to get? Your why should determine your agenda. If women are just looking for a break from their kids, questions in the jar is a great activity. If your participants are stressed, deep breathing and some sister circle work. But you don't want to have people come to the space expecting to, you know, breathe deeply and they're engaged in this political conversation, because then again trust it gets broken, because I trusted you to have a specific thing related to who I am and why I'm here, and that's not what we have. And then lastly, you need to make sure you have an intentional closing. No matter what you're doing, folks got to leave with an action step and a follow up. Follow up with a mom friend you met at our next meeting, or our next meeting is here. Here's the council person we're calling this week. Like, you need to have some type of close so that people understand that you want to engage with them further and that this isn't the end. Because a lot of times this is just the end. And then there's no follow up, there's no follow through. And that can be dangerous for when you're trying to create community. Even if it's casual, it doesn't matter. It still needs structure. And structure doesn't mean stiff. It means nobody is standing around thinking, so what are we doing, or what are we doing next? So the follow thing you need is follow up. The afterglow matters. This is the part that turns a meetup into a community. When the actual, because you gave them the action stuff, but did you follow up after the closing? Because the gathering is not a finish line. The gathering is the spark. The afterglow is what makes people come back. Follow up is where you thank people. It's where you reflect on one or two highlights. So if you want to post on social media and say, hey, just met up with a close group of friends, we had a great time, tag them in it and share a photo, and inviting them to the next step. So that's, the text, the DM, the email. Hey, it was great seeing you last week. Are you coming the second week of next month? And asking a simple question that keeps the connection alive. A simple question. What did you learn? Who did you meet? Because that's going to give you data that helps you to further help your community members stay engaged. And it's also going to let them know that you actually care. So if you don't follow up, you're asking people to do all the emotional remembering themselves. And we don't do that. We do emotional remembering together. Now let's talk about care, because basic planning without inclusion becomes harm very quickly. So here are some questions you have to ask. Again, you want your environments to feel very inclusive. You want people to get there and feel like I belong here, not am I too much trouble? So here are some questions you can ask. Childcare. Is this kid friendly or adult only? Say it. Just say it clearly. And if it is kid friendly, is there space for the kids to move? Don't just say bring the kids. Don't do that. If it's adult only, say it's adult only. If it's kid friendly, then make sure the kids are actually included in the agenda some type of way. Make sure you are very aware of sensory needs. Some folks don't do loud, crowded, bright, unpredictable spaces. So consider the noise level, consider the time of day, consider having a quiet corner, consider like name badges that say I'm open to physical touch or not, I'm open to conversation or not. Keep the group reasonable. Again, this is why we say your minimum viable gathering is not that many people. It's like maybe 5 to 12 people max, because you got to understand that some people you may have disabled people that show up, and you need to take time and care and attention to those people. Make sure the timing is relevant to your people. Moms might not be able to do 6 p.m. on a weekday night. They got kids, they're running around. Entrepreneurs might want to meet during the daytime. Weekends, they're probably working. So make sure you pick a time that's based on your people, not your fantasy. Again, leaders, step out of your head, step out of your fantasy. We work people first. And then cost transparency is really important, especially in today's time. If it's free, say it's free. If it costs money, say exactly how much and what it covers. If people need to bring something, say that. No surprises. People don't like money surprises. People don't want to show up and the price ain't the price. If we're going out to dinner together, I want to pay for my meal, not my neighbor's meal. That's not fair. Maybe I don't have money to pay for my neighbor's meal. So make sure that you are creating safety norms that include cost transparency. So you don't have to be dramatic about any of these things, but you do just have to make it real. So using respectful language, no recording without consent. That's a big one. Everybody assumes everybody wants to be on Instagram. Nope, everybody don't. Confidentiality basics, if it's a circle style gathering, again, going back to our confidentiality video, reading that confidentiality statement, making sure people consent. And then what to do if conflict pops up. You need to make that simple and calm and have your own protocol written out for how you're going to handle that. Okay, all right. So that is your minimum viable gathering. So now we're going to make this real. That is your assignment for the week, is that we're not just talking about our minimum viable gathering, we are actually doing it. So you're going to use your Tribe Builder roadmap to create a 90-minute planning checklist plus a gathering checklist. And there's also a run of show included in there. So your assignment is to plan one simple gathering in the next 30 days. So again, use the checklist, pick a date, choose a place, write your one sentence. Actually, move that to the front. Write your one sentence. Your one sentence purpose, write that first. Then use the checklist, pick a date, choose a place, create a basic run of show. Remember to include a welcome, a center, and a close. And we do all of this because community starts when you feel ready for it to start, right? We don't want to push you to do your minimum viable gathering. We want you to do it when you feel good, when you feel safe, when you feel strong. And remembering that inviting community members to something that is safe and clear and doable protects your peace. And it also makes sure that you're able to create community in a way that builds trust. All right. I will see you in our next video where we're going to talk about resolving community conflict, one of the hard parts. All right, y'all. Peace.